UFC Fight Night Vegas 47, Hermansson versus Strickland just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main events, giving my reaction and breakdown for every single fight on the card and my overall event recap as well, starting with the early prelim opener of Malcolm Gordon versus Dennis Bondar. Not too much to discuss here, a pretty weird opening to a card. Dennis Bondar's arm snaps in the first round, he breaks it, they give the win to Malcolm Gordon by first round TKO. Not much to discuss, as I said, they both land a couple of shots on the feet. Malcolm Gordon did look like he was kind of getting the better of the fight, but what really can you tell with a minute and 22 seconds into the first round? Dennis Bondar got a takedown at one point, ended up on top. Malcolm Gordon went for a submission, used that submission to work his way back up to his feet. He then shot his own takedown in that grappling exchange, and then Dennis Bondar, whilst going towards the canvas, snapped his arm in a very awkward position, told the referee about it verbally, and Malcolm Gordon let go. Weird situation, he broke his arm, nothing to do with Gordon, it's not like he armbarred him or anything, but I guess he was getting a takedown, so it's a good win, I guess. He gets his win bonus, and that's all that matters to him, I guess. Malcolm Gordon gets the job done by first round TKO, due to a random arm break off of a weird positioning after being taken down. Moving on to some of the real fights of the card. Phillip Rowe versus Jason Witt. Not the best fight to begin with. Jason Witt just kind of stayed on top, did his thing in the early part of the round. In round one, he stayed on top, took down Phillip Rowe, landed some total strikes, didn't really do too much craziness on top of him, but just kept him there, got a lot of takedowns. Now, Phillip Rowe was working his way back up, but again, Jason Witt just kept on top, kept going for takedowns, kept getting them, landing decent shots on top. And then in round two, it was the same thing. He gets on top, lands a couple of decent shots. Phillip Rowe works his way back up to his feet, but this time when Phillip Rowe got back to his feet, you could sense a different level of urgency. Jason Witt had tried to take him down so many times, he started to get a little bit lazy, and Phillip Rowe knew this, and he knew he had to capitalise whilst he was on his feet against Jason Witt, and he landed a massive combination. It was actually a really, really nice combination, and it's going to get overshadowed on this card, but that was one of the better finishes, I guess, of the year. I know there hasn't been too many fights this year, or too many good finishes this year in general, but Phillip Rowe's three-piece combination there against Jason Witt was brutal. I liked it, and he got the job done by second round TKO. Again, not too much to discuss, wasn't the best fight in the world, a lot of ground control from Jason Witt, and then whenever they ended up back on their feet in round two, Phillip Rowe capitalised with a beautiful three-piece and put away Jason Witt in the second round with brutal fashion. Moving on to another fight that took place on that card, which was Jailton Almeida versus Danilo Marquez. Now, maybe a future champion, definitely on roids, I would imagine, but that's not what it's about. Let's just talk about the performance. This lab freak, this thing that escaped from a Brazilian laboratory, is gonna absolutely dismantle everyone. Literally everyone. I don't know who's going to beat this man. Danilo Marquez is the guy who outgrapples everyone at middleweight, typically on the unranked area, of course. Some of the top middleweights are going to be a little bit, or light heavyweights, sorry. Some of the top light heavyweights are going to be a little bit better. But Danilo Marquez at light heavyweight is going to be a massive threat to anyone. He had a great performance on the Contender Series against a very good Dagestani, beat him. Now he's just beaten another great grappler in Danilo Marquez. It's not that he's going out there and, the grappler beats the striker, no big deal. He's out-grappling the good grapplers. The guy he fought on the Contender Series was a great grappler. He's just done it to Danilo Marquez easily in the first round by TKO. Got him down, took dominant position, rained down shots, massive shots on top in full mount over and over again. It wasn't like a KO or anything like that. It was more just because Danilo Marquez just wouldn't improve his position, and eventually the referee has to stop the fight from full mount. Jailton Almeida, extremely dangerous. Good luck beating him, whoever's going to take him on. He seems adept on the feet. He's massive for the division. He's extremely strong, and he's got great grappling that he's going to enforce on most people. I think there's a real grappling gap in middleweight right now, and I think you're going to see guys like Andre Muniz and even guys like Jailton Almeida really start to rise towards the top because, you know, we need some grapplers right now at middleweight, and I think they're starting to do very well for themselves. Jailton Almeida, man, look out for him. I hope he stays extremely active because I don't want this to be a case of a guy who's like, I believe he's 30. I don't want him to get to the title too late, and we've had his prime, and he's losing it a little bit, and he's not quite as athletic. So hopefully they get him right back in there. Maybe on the May pay-per-view card 3 months from now. That'd be good. It's a Brazilian-themed card. They could put him on the prelims against a decent fighter. That'd be great. But good win by Jailton Almeida. Phenomenal grappling to out-grapple Danilo Marquez the way he did and dominate him in the first round. Absolutely ridiculous. Moving on to another fight that took place, which was Alexis Davis versus Julijya Stoliarenko. I'm not going to go with anyone. Alexis Davis won the fight. I picked her to win this fight as well. She got the job done. I believe I'm so far 2-1 on the prelims. This makes me 3-1 on the prelims. Alexis Davis gets the job done. Very impressive performance. Not the most impressive, but she won the fight very clearly, in my opinion. Won the first round, won the third round. I don't know where they're giving out 10-8s. Pretty confused by that, to be honest. But again, it's women's MMA. I guess I maybe missed something because I don't know how they gave a 10-8 round in any of those rounds. But again, Alexis Davis won the first. Way more damage, way more top control, way more total strikes. Twitter had Julijya Stoliarenko winning the first based on the submission attempts. Like, where was that in Ngannou versus Ngannou? Davis was beating her up on top. You can't just be given, one submission attempt, like a couple of submission attempts here and there. Like, I think Alexis Davis clearly won the fight, of course. Won the first round. The second round was close. You maybe could give that to Julijya Stoliarenko. You probably can give that one to Julijya Stoliarenko. But the third round, Alexis Davis took over again. Ended up on top. Landed a better shots. Landed good shots on the feet as well. It was just a grappling difference. She's way more experienced. Stayed out of the submission attempts. And just landed good shots constantly to make sure she was scoring points. Alexis Davis gets the job done. I picked her to win. She's a veteran and she's fought great opponents and she's looked good against those opponents, and I'm going to keep picking her against these contenders because, again, women's MMA is shit. Moving on up the card to another great fight, which was Chidi Njokuani versus Marc-Andre Barriault. I say a great fight. This was a great 16 seconds. Chidi Njokuani fucking annihilated Marc-Andre Barriault. Now, I thought that Chidi Njokuani was going to win this one, even though he's new to the UFC. He's a bit older. Marc-Andre Barriault's a bit more seasoned. He's fought a bunch of tough guys. He's shown that he's a real tough guy himself. I thought Chidi Njokuani would win this one by decision, maybe dropping Marc-Andre Barriault a couple of times, but Chidi Njokuani wasn't wasting any time tonight. 1-2 right down the pipe. He has the reach advantage anyway. Perfect shot selection. I mean, it is a bit of like a Marc-Andre has to do the perfect thing to put himself in that position, but again, he landed the perfect 1-2. Straight down the pipe. Marc-Andre, I believe, went for like a check hook or like a jab to like sort of duck away from what the shots were. And after the jab, Chidi Njokuani's right hand came right over the shoulder of Marc-Andre, hit him right on the side of the head, put him down. A couple of follow-up shots were had afterwards. And Chidi Njokuani gets a first round KO in brutal fashion. I believe the second fastest UFC debut KO, just behind Terence McKinney, who got the other one. Chidi Njokuani, another guy to look out for. I just wish he wasn't fucking 33 years of age. So please, Chidi Njokuani, do not rest on your laurels. He got a performance bonus, a nice extra 50k, so I believe he would have made something like, what, 14 for 14, 28,000 plus 50k. We're looking at, what, 78,000 plus his Venom bonus. So a lot of money to make on your debut. Do not sit around and do nothing, please. Turn immediately around. You're 33 years of age. Please get to the belt as soon as you can. Good win by Chidi Njokuani. Stay active. Took no damage. Get right back in there in a couple of weeks. Why not? I don't see the point as to why not. So, amazing win. Marc-Andre Barriault's a tough guy, so this is going to jump you way up in the middleweight rankings. Very good performance by Chidi Njokuani. Not much to say, really. A lot of these fights were either a bit dull or really quick finishes. Moving on up the card, Hakeem Dawodu versus Mike Trizano. Let's discuss this one. Hakeem Dawodu won the fight very clearly, 30-27. Trizano had moments. Of course, Dawodu's chinny as fuck, so like Trizano would land like a glancing left hook and Dawodu would be like, oh shit, time to clinch against the cage because he'd been hit by a good shot. But the majority of this fight was just Dawodu walking him down, outstriking him the entire time. I was actually surprised that Trizano didn't try and grapple a bit more, but then again, when he did in the third round, Dawodu ended up on top for a moment and had some success there. So Trizano, a little bit outgunned tonight, didn't try grappling enough in my opinion. I picked Dawodu to win this one 30-27. He won this one 30-27. I just didn't see Trizano having great head movement, and I could see Dawodu just peppering his face off for the entire 3 rounds. Basically exactly what happened in that fight. Walked him down, landed the better shots, even on the return, he was landing better shots as well. That body shot, let's talk about the body shot, Jesus Christ, almost forgot about it. He was mixing it up way better. Trizano had some moments in the clinch with a good knee to the face and a good left hook here and there, definitely had the power difference, but Dawodu was just way busier, landing the better shots, and those body shots, my fucking god. Those lead left hooks to the body were nasty, and they changed the entire fight because Trizano started to bring his hands down, respect the body shots too much, and then Dawodu would start landing some good combos to the head as well. Great performance by Dawodu. Really good win. 30-27. I don't know what's next for Dawodu in his career. He's not getting any younger, and he sort of can't really get a lot of momentum going to where he's like jumping up the division quite rapidly. So I guess you'd put him against like an Andre Phillip of the featherweight division next, and if he can win that one, then you give him a ranked opponent again as another chance. But we'll see what they do next for Hakeem Dawodu. Very good performance, 30-27. Just tuned up Trizano for 3 rounds. Whenever Trizano tried to change it up to get a takedown, he showed that he's got good grappling as well. Good performance by Hakeem Dawodu, making Evloev look really fucking good, if I'm honest. Moving on up the card to another great fight that took place, which was John Castaneda versus Miles Johns. Very good fight. I thought Johns arguably could have got one of the rounds just because of the power difference. Landed a couple of good shots. I believe a jab in the first round that landed well. That sort of rocked Castaneda a little bit. Very slow-paced first round. Second round, they picked up the pace a little bit because John Castaneda, they kept clashing heads. And at one point, Castaneda clashed heads with the side of Johns' head in the temple area. And Johns got a little bit rocked. And then after that, Castaneda started realizing, wait, this guy keeps dropping his hands after he throws a left hook. I'm going to follow up with a right hook of my own and start finishing off my combos with a nasty right hook. And it kept landing on Miles Johns and rocking him really badly. And Johns just couldn't really recover. He kept getting clipped with clean shots. John Castaneda started walking him down, landing the bigger shots. John started to sort of mentally fatigue because he's like, fuck, I'm losing. Pressure is on. Heart pumping. I'm about to be finished. It's very close. Went down a couple of times in the second round and Castaneda followed him. Landed some good shots there. Then in the third, he got the job done by finish. Amazing win by John Castaneda. And it was all that right hook. All that right hook. Finishing the combination with the right hook, Johns would sort of posture out and block his right side and get clipped with that right hook all day on his left side. Down goes Miles Johns in the third round. Castaneda goes to the ground with him, grappling, turns it into an arm triangle. Very good performance by John Castaneda, winning the Battle of the Johns and proving me wrong massively. Good performance by him. Moving on up the card, Julian Erosa versus Steven Peterson. I went with Julian Erosa here. I thought he'd get a win by decision and it'd be a scrap, and that's exactly what happened. Julian Erosa got the job done. First and third round, I do believe. Steven Peterson winning the second round, but it was a crazy fight. Fight of the year so far, in my opinion, 100%. I mean, better than Keita versus Chikedze. This was an amazing fight. Really good. Start to finish. Massive shots. Erosa won the first round with the bigger shots and sort of hurt Steven Peterson in certain moments, and Peterson would hurt him in certain moments, but Erosa would always finish strong and get himself a takedown in some of the rounds to secure himself the win. And he won the first round very clearly. Then in the second round, Peterson starts landing really big shots on Erosa, at one point really badly hurting him, but I believe at one point Erosa spinning back-fisted Steven Peterson and technically knocked him down, but they didn't give it a knockdown, which I guess is why they didn't give him that second round. I don't see how you can score the fight to Peterson. I don't get that, but again, the judging tonight was all over the place. They really wanted to mess some things up. They tried their best in the main event to mess things up, and we'll get to that in a second, but Julian Erosa, amazing performance, good knees, good teeps. I wish he would have used a lot more body kicks. They were working very well for him. Good round kicks to the body, just smashing into Peterson. He didn't really find him. He didn't really find his defense for them too well. But Peterson was always game, landing right hands over the top on Julian Erosa, who keeps his hands by his waist, even in the fucking pocket, which is worrying. I'm glad that Peterson got 50k. I know he missed weight massively, and he's a cunt for missing weight massively, and he keeps missing weight massively, but the amount of damage he took and the fight that he put on, I do hope he gets to 50k, because if Julian Erosa gets both, good for Julian Erosa. Let's be real. I think he'll make something like 140 grand if he gets both of those bonuses, like 150 grand maybe, who knows. Julian Erosa, very good win, improves his contract again, gets another win under his belt. I think it's time for him to be sort of not used, because he can still have a chance at winning these fights himself, but I think he needs to go against some of the better guys in the featherweight division. Of course, he's already beat Charles Jourdain, so he's going to be quite highly ranked after this, so we'll see what they do next. Maybe Julian Erosa versus Hakeem Dawodu is the matchup to be made. Both around the same card. Probably going to be looking for about 4 months off. International Fight Week prelims in July. Julian Erosa, Hakeem Dawodu. Winner gets a ranked opponent. I guess that's what they could do. Erosa beat Sean Woodson as well. Like, this is actually crazy that he keeps winning. It's shocking to me. But he's very good at being in these scraps and coming out on top of them. He's got great heart. A good chin, I guess. Unless he fights Sung Woo Choi. But Erosa, amazing performance. Gritted down. Got the job done when he needed to. And just secured takedowns as well, even in the third round. I laughed at this watching it live. He says, "Come on!" And then he immediately shoots a double leg and just tricks Peterson massively, who thought they were going to scrap back and forth. Shoots a double leg underneath. Very smart play by Julian Erosa, and he gets the job done by decision. 50k bonus, maybe even 100k. I hope Peterson gets 50k though. Let's be real. Moving on, up the card, after that amazing fight, Bryan Battle versus Tresean Gore. Listen, yeah. I saw when this first went up, a wave of robbery. Wow, absolute robbery. Disgraceful. What a boring fight. All of these negative, not really a champ though, you ran away the whole time. And then after that, I refreshed it and there was another wave of who the fuck is saying robbery and you guys are wrong. It was clearly Bryan Battle. Bryan Battle fucking clearly won that fight 2-1. I know everyone kind of agrees with this, but there is a small fringe movement. I get it. It's fucking Black History Month. I understand. But, like, Battle clearly won that fight 2-1. There's no argument about it. He won the first. He won the third. There's no way around that. You can't give Gore 1 or 3. He landed some decent shots in round 3, but he got over doubled, and Battle landed good shots as well. And I'll even say in round 3, Gore started to slow down. Now, I will say, as a guy who picked Tresean Gore to win, I was feeling very good about myself going into that third round after the second because it looked like Tresean Gore was starting to find his range, starting to find a few more big shots. I think he could have KO'd Battle in certain moments in that fight because those shots he was landing were massive, but Battle showed that he had a great chin, he can battle through adversity, no pun intended, and came out on the other end in round 3 as the better fighter because he invested so much early. Amazing performance by Battle, and I said this in the first round. We're sitting here like, oh, Gore misses again, but it's a massive shot. And everything he does is so fast and so powerful. But then again, hey, Battle kind of fucked him up in that first round. Really easily. Teeps to the body, inside leg kicks, outside leg kicks, body kicks in general, 1-1-2, combos, couple of hooks around the guard, couple of good body shots with the hands as well. I think that Gore actually did start to slow down in the third round after the second. He had a couple of good bursts in the second round, but again, throughout this, 41% of attacks from Bryan Battle to the body, 15% to the legs. He weren't really headhunting out there. Teeps to the body were money all day. He made Gore miss a couple of times as well, which helped him. Shot takedowns against the cage and worked him there, which helped him as well. Gore had great takedown defense and did everything correctly and looked amazing. He just didn't have the heart and tenacity that he needed to push through when he wanted. Kind of a bit of Woodley syndrome, am I wrong? Like, it was a bit Woodley-ish, what he was doing. He showed great stuff when he was doing stuff, just never did the stuff that was so great when he did the stuff. He needs to do the stuff in order to get the stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, Battle did the stuff, and he kept the volume up, and he picked apart Gore for the first and third round very impressively, and showed a great chin, hurt his eye in the second round. As soon as I saw that eye at the end of the second round, I'm thinking, Gore won the second, he's going to finish him in the third or win the third in general and win the fight. But the body shots worked, the leg kicks worked from Battle, Gore started to slow down a bit more. At the end of the third round, he actually started to back up for the first time and take a few breathers. And Battle got the job done, pushing him into grappling and making the fight happen. Very good, smart game plan by Battle, either being all the way out or all the way in, never really getting caught in that mid-range or with his back against the cage. The few times he did, he immediately got clipped with a big shot, and he recognised that and decided, I'm either all the way out picking at him, or I'm all the way in pushing him against the cage, trying to get a takedown. Bryan Battle, very good performance, and for a middleweight, good performances from both. They look technical out there. Middleweights don't typically do that, so Bryan Battle's got potential. The real tough champion. Enough fucking disgrace in his name. Moving on, up the card. Brendan Allen versus Sam Alvey. I went with Brendan Allen here, but I worried, and in the first round I was sort of reminded of why I worried, because Sam Alvey landed a couple of big counter shots on Brendan Allen in that first round. Allen seemed very tentative to come in, left himself open a couple of times for counter shots, and Alvey's just good at pivot countering. He's kind of like Dominic Reyes in that way. He'll move out, shift back, land the right hand over the top. It's a good move that Sam Alvey has. Just a little bit too one-dimensional. And when Allen can pick at him at range with those body kicks and leg kicks and land his own good shots, it was a good performance from Brendan Allen. Won the first round towards the end of it because he dropped him at the end of the first round and then put Sam Alvey away in the second. Or he didn't drop him in the first round. He hurt him badly to where Alvey ended up on the ground in the first round. And in the second round, Brendan Allen got the job done very well. Landed a big shot. It was a great combo. It was like the end of Paver versus O'Malley with the left hook to the body, right hand over the top. No. Right hand to the body, left hook over the top. Maybe different from the O'Malley one, opposite sides. But amazing finish by Brendan Allen, no? Right hook to the body, left hand on like an offbeat, like a bam bam, not a boom boom. Bam bam! Caught him off guard, put down Sam Alvey badly. Great finish by Brendan Allen. Great finish. I'm glad he got a win. And I think, as much as it hurts me to say, he's not going to be smiling too much after this because I think it's time to let him go. Now, I get it. There's certain fighters they keep on. But, Sam Alvey has got to go. He's lost a lot of fights, whether you think they're bad decisions or not. He has not won a fight in a very long... I think he's 0-7-1 in his last 8. No wins. He's got to go. Okay? Go. Leave now. Please, no more Sam Alvey. I beg of you. Great win by Brendan Allen. Great finishing combo as well. Got the job done. Very impressive performance. He was supposed to win, and he won accordingly. Now we'll see what he does next in the middleweight division. Maybe even a Brendan Allen versus Bryan battle fight would be cool. I don't mind that. Sounds like a good match. It's light heavyweight, but they're fighting at middleweight. Allen fights at middleweight. So let's do Brendan Allen versus Bryan battle. Sounds like a good matchup to me. Bryan battle's 2-0 in the UFC now. Allen snapping back after a loss to Chris Curtis. It'll be a good jump up. Maybe it'll be a fun matchup. And they're on similar schedules as well, so that'll be good. Moving on up the card to another great fight, which was Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Carlston Harris. Shavkatted. You know what I mean? He just fucking wheel kicked him in the first round, put him out cold. I thought Carlston Harris was going to win. I was saying that there's no way Shavkat out-grapples him. Carlston Harris has great grappling. He'll stop the takedowns or he'll work his way back up and he'll land good shots on the feet. And for the most part, that was true. He stuffed the takedowns. But stuffing the takedowns ain't enough against Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's got the spinning kicks as well. There's a new generation of cliff dweller, okay? You land the takedowns, you don't get the takedowns, all good. Here comes a spinning back kick to the body. Kaboom. All of a sudden, Carlston Harris, hunched over, really badly hurt to the body for a second, clinches up, actually wins the clinch exchange against the cage. He was stronger out there. Shavkat tried to take him down a couple of times. He stuffed those takedowns a couple of times. Eventually, Shavkat picked him up for a big slam. Carlston Harris immediately scrambled out of it. Very good grappling. Worked his way back up to his feet into over-unders. Landed a big shot. Broke. And all of a sudden, the same spinning back kick wasn't a spinning back kick anymore, but Carlston Harris, already being hurt to the body, reacted to it like it was a spinning back kick to the body, and sort of hunched over into it, leaving himself wide open for the wheel kick. It didn't even land with the heel, it landed with a calf. You don't need the heel to land. If they don't see it coming, you don't need to heel to land with a good spinning wheel kick. Landed a good one. This guy's got a crazy highlight reel to his name now, so if he keeps building it up, it's going to be a great time at welterweight with this prospect on our hands. Very good win from Shavkat Rakhmonov. This was like a proving fight for Shavkat because I know people say, you know, you're dumb for picking Carlston Harris. Harris is a great fighter himself. He looks sloppy out there tonight, don't get me wrong, but he's a good fighter himself. He had good wins over great opponents throughout his entire career. He's very experienced too. But Shavkat had fought Mikel Prazeres, some little imp for the welterweight division, some fat old man basically in the welterweight division. And he also beat Alex Oliveira, who maybe his best days are behind him. Don't know how much to value that win. So this win, I'm on board with Shavkat Rakhmonov. Very good on the feet. Great grappling, even though Harris was able to stuff a couple of the takedowns. He's got great everything. So good job, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Very good performance. Stay active. No damage. Stay active. 3 months later, let's turn everything around. I'm sick of these fucking 6 months layoffs. So let's get it going. Shavkat Rakhmonov, 3 months later, get him on another card, maybe the April pay-per-view or the May pay-per-view on the prelims again against another welterweight opponent. That'd be great. Do that shit. Moving on up the card. Nick Maximov versus Punelli Soriano. People are shitting on Nick Maximov. I think it's because they can't accept that he just has a Stockton accent. So he must just be a copycat of the Diaz bros. But he might just have a Stockton accent. I know James Gallagher did a lot of the sayings that McGregor did, but at the end of the day, he's kind of Irish still, although Northern Irish. He lived in Dublin for a very long time growing up around Conor McGregor. You're going to pick up some of those accenting habits. Grew up in Stockton, around Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz. I sound like my friends when I'm casually talking. We have the same way of speaking. It's like a common dialect that we have. It happens. Get off the guy's case. He's from Stockton. He's going to sound like a guy from Stockton, just like Nate and Nick Diaz. Is Nate copying Nick Diaz the way he speaks, or is it because they're brothers and they were close to each other, they're okay? Nick Maximov is close with him. He can't sound a bit like him. Either way, let's talk about the performance. Great win. Really great win. I picked Punahele Soriano to flatline KO this guy in the first round. I thought he was going to flatline KO this guy in the first round, and I thought he won the first round as well, so I was very shocked at a fucking 30-27, but whatever, eh? I don't know what the judges would do in this fucking card. We'll get to the main event in a second. But yeah, won the first round, in my opinion. Punahele Soriano landed a great knee to the face, showed great takedown defense. Nick Maximov deserves so much credit, yeah, because to keep that fucking pace up for 3 fucking rounds, when Punahele keeps getting back up and punching you in the body the way he was, is crazy to be able to keep sticking to him and getting those takedowns. People are going to call him out for it. I know Punahele Soriano outlanded him in the second, but Nick Maximov was so positionally dominant, and it wasn't like Punahele was landing KO blows. And also, Maximov landed his own good shots on the feet. A couple of good straight right hands, a couple of good kicks on the feet as well, a couple of good leg kicks here and there, and he just got too many takedowns, too much top control, a submission attempt here and there, a reversal here and there, total strikes here and there when he needed them, and he won the second round, in my opinion, as the round went on. Very close round, though. You could even argue that should be scored to Punahele as well. Wait, what am I even talking about? No, I'm correct. Maximov won the second. Very close, though, eh? Very close in that second round. And then third round, I had Maximov winning. Won the third round, out-controlled him, had his moments, even had his back in the first. But in the third round, he had his moments on top, landing the shots he needed to. Punahele would land a couple of big shots, but at the end, he didn't chase him down. If Punahele Soriano genuinely went after Nick Maximov in that third round, towards the end, last 5 seconds, and went boom, 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 and landed a couple of big shots, he might genuinely win that whole fight. But Nick Maximov gets it done, out-grapples him, total strikes his way to victory. Wasn't the greatest performance to watch entertainment-wise, but as someone who appreciates the difficulty of grappling in MMA, to do that to Punahele Soriano with a guy the strength of his hips, you've got to be a phenomenal grappler. So I'm picking Nick Maximov against a lot of opponents moving forward. He's young, he can improve massively, he's tough, he can get through some adversity, and if you can out-grapple Punahele Soriano over 3 rounds and keep a heavy pace, you can do that to a lot of people at middleweight. So we'll see what they do with him next. Maybe him versus Bryan battle. We'll see what they do. Moving on to another matchup that took place, which was Hermansson versus Strickland in the main event. I picked Sean Strickland to win by decision. I said 50-45. He ended up winning, in my opinion, 49-46. Round 1, I gave to Jack Hermansson. Outlanded Sean Strickland. Got a takedown at one point for a split second, but not really. Not officially, but tried to get the back. Strickland got himself to the cage. Defended very well. Full of gas right now, I'm sorry. Strickland just defended very well in the takedowns, and it meant the fight to him, in all honesty. I gave the first round to Jack Hermansson. The second round was very close. I know the shot didn't really land from Sean Strickland that put Hermansson on his ass in the second round at the end of it, but he did land a shot on the guard, kind of partially landed, dropped Hermansson at the end of the second round whilst he was off balance. So that does win him the second round, even if it was a very close round beforehand. That moment at the end, got to give it to Sean Strickland. 10-9 there, so it's 1-1 going into the third. Round 3, Hermansson still landing his shots, but Strickland, it's more like what he made Hermansson not do than what Strickland actually did. Strickland outlanded him with his jab and landed the better shots in that round, in round 3 anyway, but he also made Hermansson miss so much. So much. Hermansson, and when Strickland would miss, he would barely be out of range with a jab, to where it could have even landed to the judges anyway. When Hermansson would miss, he would completely whiff on Strickland. Strickland's striking defense, extremely underrated. Very good performance with the striking defense. Not too offensive, or he didn't really beat up Hermansson or anything like that. But yeah, Jack Hermansson just missed a lot of his shots, failed his takedowns, and even in those failures of takedowns, I mean, the striking significantly was 153, 137. But in the total strikes, it was 161, 137. So those little shots in the clinch, they mean something. Strickland's winning those exchanges. When Hermansson's trying to get a single leg and Strickland's landing a couple of punches to the face and then separating, he wins that whole exchange. Strickland was very smart about picking his shots, finding his right moments for success, easing out the first 2 rounds, seeing what Hermansson was going to do, and then putting it on him in the later parts of the rounds. Round 4, clearest round in the fucking fight for Sean Strickland. Won round 4 clearly. Very close round, but again, gave it to Sean Strickland, stuffed the takedowns, landed more total strikes in the clinch, landed better shots on the feet, won the 4th round in my opinion. Round 5, clear as day. No denying round 5. Round 5 was the clearest round of the fight. Round 4 was clear as well, but round 5 sealed the deal, especially with the end, landing the better shots even in that wild exchange towards the end of the fight where he tried to make it a bit more entertaining for the fans, and just picking them apart with his jab. It's like Strickland's just jabbing his way to a world title. Like, he didn't do anything too flashy. He's not going to wheel kick anyone. He's not really going to head kick anyone or land anything great. He did land a good switch kick to the head at one point, I believe in round 2 or 3 against Jack Hermansson though. But at best, you maybe could give Jack round 3 and 1. 48-47 Strickland. To give Hermansson the fight, i.e. to give Hermansson round 2, 4 or 5, is pretty dumb. Right? Pretty silly. Round 3 and 4 were close, but Strickland landed more, he landed better, he stuffed the takedowns, he made Hermansson miss, he won those rounds. Very good performance by Sean Strickland. I think he should fight Paulo Costa or Marvin Vettori next. We'll see what goes down. I guess I'll make every fight to make after UFC Vegas 47 video tomorrow. Stay tuned for that one, along with my full card predictions for UFC 271. Adesanya versus Whittaker 2. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.